Hello, hello, good morning. It is Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. That be Ted Rall. I was going to kick Ted out because Ted was on the phone, and I don't know, maybe everybody would have wanted to hear Ted what
It
you
would
were
have been
talking
very exciting.
about. Your prescription for...
It's like when the government used to tap my phone. And if you don't believe me, you can look it up in the New York Times. It's true.
Oh,
And I was like, God, I felt so sorry for them. I'm like, I'm so boring. I mean, there's a, it's like,
I
it's
only have
not like,
theories of
oh,
mine.
he's like conspiring with the government of Botswana. Like, no, nothing like that.
I only have my theories of the government tapping my phone when I lived, like 100 yards or less from the White House when I first moved to DC, working for those damn pesky Ruskies.
No, I mean, it's kind of like when we were working for the Ruskies, I kind of thought, I would be surprised if the government's not tapping, everything right now. Well, they tap everyone anyway. So,
Well, yeah, it's
we
out
know
there
that from
anyway. But
Snowden.
they especially had cause because I had, well, one, I'm a yellow face working for the
True.
Ruskies, and I moved
And
to Washington,
you're from a
D.C.
country that most people can't find on a map. So
I'm not from there,
I
but
know, but
heritage,
still.
yes. But
Mhm.
still, I am from this bizarre land called California, which we will focus on today because we focused on your motherland yesterday.
The weirdest of all places.
Is it though? Is California the
California? No,
weirdest thing?
I don't really. I mean, it's a, California I think it's fair to say it's a surprising place because I mean, like for example, I didn't expect it to have such a strong hillbilly component the first time I went, and it does. I mean, and of course, obviously for
Well, you
historical
go out to,
reasons.
like, Bakersfield and that, like, up in
Yeah,
the Central Coast, not the coast, but Central and then inland.
yeah, those are the
That's like,
Dust Bowl
yeah.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and
they only the only thing is, like, they don't have any different accent. They still talk like me,
right, that's true, right? But
but
culturally, they're
culturally couldn't be more polarly different than where I'm from in Los Angeles.
so.
Like,
Yeah, no, it's very true. I mean,
I don't know
and the
what the
thing is, it's
weirdest
not
beat
like
is.
there's 2 or 3 of them, right? I mean, there's a lot of
No,
hillbillies
it's a big
in
community.
California.
It is a
Yeah.
big chunk of Californians who are
Also,
what
Californians are
people call
very,
rednecks.
they're far more aggressive and contentious than New Yorkers. Like New Yorkers say "fuck you," but they mean "good morning." In California, you say "good morning," they mean "fuck you." I mean, it's like
Well,
they're
no.
Californians be spoiling for fights a lot more than New Yorkers.
You think so? I don't think so.
Hmm.
I think well, in SoCal, you lived in NorCal. I'm from SoCal.
I spent a
Everyone's
lot of time in SoCal. I remember I worked at KFI.
everyone's pretty cool. Everyone's cool, very
Southern
gay.
Californians are much cooler than Northern
We're way
Californians.
cooler. We're kinda like, "Whatever." Like, we just kinda just
Well,
really
that's
don't
true.
care.
Northern Californians are hostile. I think it's the fog. They don't. I mean, that's another thing
They're
that
Nancy
surprised me.
Pelosi-esque.
Another thing that's funny is the beach kind of blows in California.
In
I think of California.
in the north?
I think of the beach as like Florida, where you can go and it's the water's warm, the sun is warm. It's like you can go lie on the
The
beach.
ocean's cold, man.
Yeah, in California, you got that Gulf of Alaska effect, and it's cold all the way down to San Diego. That water is cold. You go to Los
Yeah, yeah.
Angeles, water's cold,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. The
it's not.
beach is
It's
cool.
really not very pleasant. It's also very rough, like all the time.
But
Like
that's where
it's
the surf
so it's
is.
good
Everyone
for
surfs in
surfing, but it's not
SoCal.
good for swimming, really.
No, and as of recent, there's been a 100% increase in great white shark sightings. Whoa. Just wanna point that out. Anyway, you are tuned into the TMI Show, the Ted Manila Information Show. That be the Ted, I'm the Manila, and hello, producer Robbie. No
Howdy.
ads a moment ago. Any ads we have to get to before we jump?
No, I'm fussing you out about Californians right now in the chat.
I know. Robbie hates Californians, I guess, except Manila, maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're okay. Yellow face and
There's
all, squinty eyes. I'll keep you.
there are some of us that you might like, Robbie.
Yeah, very few.
more. There are more. It's just probably not the ones that moved to Montana.
I mean,
You went to our place, you might like our people.
maybe. I mean, I would deport like 99% of all Californians back to the state from which they came and then wall it off.
If you went to California, you may not like the people that export themselves to your place, but if you went for a visit into SoCal, I think you would actually like it because SoCal people are they're actually really friendly and really nice and like kind of like whatever. It's a beach culture. It's just people are kind of like whatever.
Can I open carry there?
No, it's a state thing.
Well, then I'm not going to go there. If I can't open carry my gun, I'm not going to go.
Oh my God, you're missing out on so much of the world, Robbie. Goodbye. Everybody carries in California anyway. People just don't know. Not because they have a concealed carry permit, because of all the cholos and the Bloods and the Crips. So we all carry.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's another thing that like really surprised me was the prevalence of gang violence. Gangs are such a thing in Cali.
So
there are a lot of gangs.
Legislate away guns. I'm almost willing to bet, not Tibet, the place that China. Okay, I'm willing to bet that there are way more undocumented guns, in Southern California due to the gang culture down there.
Oh yeah, no question.
Than anybody has any idea about.
Plus, they cross it. They come across the border from Mexico.
Yeah, we carry.
After the U.S. sells them over there.
That's right. And Ukraine be selling, RPGs and shit. Like you can launch off. It's a true story.
Admit, I have an interest. I have an interest in having my own RPG.
I would love to own some major military hardware.
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean,
it's just some people.
Cool. One thing you can do.
I did get to fire an RPG in Afghanistan. And
were you wearing the head ear covers?
No, I was singed off all the hair and stuff on the side of my head.
I mean, you know how yesterday how you talk about
Afghans don't wear a head cover. They're not gay like that.
Yeah, yesterday how you talk about potato guns. Honestly, God, one of the best things about Yugoslavian SKSs, they have a grenade launcher permanently mounted to the bottom of the barrel.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I bring this up is that you can put a potato will fit there, and then you fire the round. The potato will launch like a mortar. It's amazing.
Wow,
so much fun.
But you could probably buy that from a Mexican cartel too if you go to Southern California.
Starch-based weaponry.
Starch-based rioting. Starch-based. That's the only kind of wars we should have. I'm just saying. All right, let's get to the show. All right. So to the motherland over in Hollywood, Ted. So I'm a big Seinfeld fan. I think you're a Seinfeld fan too. We love Seinfeld, Larry David, all that stuff.
I'm not so psyched about his political opinions, but all right.
Yeah. But because I'm a fan of those programs, when this news broke the other day, I was like, oh my God, no, not you too, Jason Alexander. So George Costanza, Jason Alexander, has now apologized to Courtney Stodden, I guess an actress and model I've never heard of before this week.
I have to look her up.
As she pushes to end child marriage in California. But the whole thing stemmed from...
Wait, child marriage is not illegal in California?
It is not.
Oh,
not
I see.
Yet.
She was married. She was 16 years old when she married a dude who was 51.
Oh, yeah. Okay, don't give this away. Hold on. Stop. Okay. So
she's kind of okay. I'm looking at her now. She's a model now.
I don't know. She's had a lot of work done. And
I see. Yeah, she has. Yeah, those might be, and this is America. Those might be the fakest boobs I've ever seen in my life.
No, she was. Go look up this old sketch. A resurfaced comedy sketch from like 2012 or so has become the latest flashpoint in a much bigger debate over child marriage and adult responsibility. Courtney Stodden, who became a tabloid fixture, I guess I don't read the tabs, Ted.
Yeah,
Tabloid.
I do read the tabs, and I
don't
don't know
even know
what
who
tabs are they
Doug
talking about? I
Hutchison-
read page
I don't
6, the New
know.
York Post. Oh my
I never
God.
heard of her.
Oh my God. You have to continue, and I'll go, oh my God.
I have
again.
never heard of her. She became a fixture after marrying then 51-year-old actor Doug Hutchison at age 16.
Okay. Oh my God. Before you go on, Google his face.
Google Doug Hutchison.
Yes. Yes. Everyone needs to, even if you're driving, just do it. Even if
if
you're at 80 miles an hour right now on the freeway, just do it.
Okay,
If you
hold
die,
on.
that's okay. It's worth it. Take a
Doug
look.
Hutchison now?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just look at his face.
Like, do I?
Look at Doug Hutchison.
Okay. What am I supposed
Believe me,
to
I
be
wouldn't
other
tell
than-
you if it wasn't worth it.
I mean, what am I supposed to be?
Look at his face. Oh my God. It's not complicated.
I'm looking. So, what about his face?
So he's
I'm gonna put this
so
on screen.
fucking ugly. It's ridiculous.
I don't know who he is.
Okay, I don't know
and
who
why
he is. He's
he
an
is
actor. Okay, but oh my
famous.
God, I'm
I don't
putting
know.
him. I'm putting
That's
him
his
into the chat.
Wikipedia right there.
Look at that. I
That's
just put
what
it
I'm
into
looking
the.
at.
I put it into the chat.
Okay, so this perv at 51 married a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah,
and
I can't
she
argue with
recently,
that.
she's now 31. She called out Jason Alexander over this 2012 Funny or Die sketch when she was just 17 years old. You guys should see what she looked like at 17. She looked like she was 31 back then when she was 17. Okay, just like I'm not trying
Okay.
to knock her, but she
was
not only
one.
was
She was
built-
not a young looking girl.
No, not only was she built and stacked like a grown ass woman, but her face, like I would not have carded her for alcohol at 17
Okay, I'm looking
if
at
I
her.
were AOC at the bar.
Oh, there she is.
would-
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I would not have.
No,
I'm
I
not
mean, are you kidding?
saying
The woman looks like 35.
she looked like she was 30 something at 17.
Yeah, she
So
did.
I don't know if Jason
I
Alexander.
mean, she's one of
knew
those
that she
people.
was-
Like, if I was on the jury, and the guy was like, I didn't know she was under 18. How could I tell? I'd be like, yeah, you're right. You walk.
Yeah, just show a picture of her. Yeah. So in this parody, though, Jason Alexander used a cell phone as a prop while making sexual jokes about Stodden's body. This was in the skit, right?
Mhm.
Including a remark suggesting he'd have his way with her once she turned 18. Okay, so it's part of a skit. That's acting, right? Like it's a skit.
Yeah, it's
Alexander-
not actually Jason Alexander.
Right. It's whatever creepy character.
That's sort
he
of
was
like when
playing.
people, I draw a
It's
cartoon.
Funny or Die.
And one of my cartoon characters says something, and people say, literally, I've had people say, Ted Rall said this. I'm like, Ted Rall didn't say
No.
anything. Like when Snoopy's dogs don't talk. So when Snoopy says something, it's not really Charles Schultz saying it. It's, goddamn.
Right.
Anyway.
So I guess I don't know. Either way, Alexander has since apologized for participating in that sketch, saying he regrets the material and any harm caused by it. That part is stupid to me. Okay. But Stodden has made clear that the apology isn't the end of the story.
Oh my God,
Instead-
she's on a fucking tear, right?
I know. She's using the renewed attention to advocate for California Assembly Bill 1267, AB 1267, legislation that would prohibit anyone under 18 from marrying in the state of California. No exceptions for parental consent or judicial approval. Stodden argues the legal system, not just individual adults, failed to protect her when she married this creepo on the stage. Although she says she was uncomfortable participating in the sketch, she maintains she had little control over the situation. The contracts were signed by adults. The compensation went to Hutchison, her creepy 51-year-old husband.
He certainly didn't use it to look good.
And she says she was the only child in the room. Her experience illustrates...
That's fair. Yeah. Okay.
Her experience illustrates a broader legal question. If minors cannot sign most binding contracts, vote, or make any other major legal decisions independently, should they be permitted to enter into marriage at all?
No.
Yeah. AB 1267 seeks to answer that question with a simple rule. One hard no, No one under 18 can legally marry in California. That's what
Good.
she's
I'm all about it.
she's
yeah.
pushing for this law.
Mhm.
The bill
Good
recently
for her.
cleared the California Assembly and now heads to the Senate, where Stodden has become one of its most visible public advocates. For Stodden, the controversy surrounding an old comedy sketch is no longer just about Hollywood. It's about changing the law so that no child can legally enter the circumstances that made that sketch and much of the media attention surrounding it possible in the first place. So a lot of layers to this, Ted, not only
A lot,
the
indeed.
creepy not only the creepy husband, 51-year-old and a 16-year-old, like, what the fuck?
It's about the
Her
legal
her
age of
parents
consent in all respects, right? I
and
mean,
her
so
and
for
her parents
example,
saying
but
yes. And
but
Ted,
this
before you glom onto California, 37 states, as of right now, us talking, 37 states in this country still
allow.
allow minors to marry under, different circumstances such as parental consent, judicial approval, pregnancy, or other statutory exceptions. So
There's
the
literally
majority of
no
states.
there's literally no good reason to allow this. I mean, like you said, and like the article says, if you can't rent a fucking car, how
You
the
can't
fuck
buy a pack of cigarettes.
yeah, you can't rent a car till you're 25. I mean, you can't enlist in the military till you're 18. You can't vote. I mean, there's a million things you can't, like you said, you can't buy cigs or vapes or cannabis or anything. I mean, you can't get a beer. You can't till you're 21. I mean, this is all, it's stupid. So, like, okay, what excuse could there be? Oh, well, they're really in love. If you're really in love, you can wait until you get married and legitimize your bastard child when you turn 18. It's like, it can fucking wait. There's no reason why not. But to me, Manila, this goes to a much broader issue, which is, if a child doesn't have standing to sign a legal document, like whether or not you can participate in a comedy sketch, for example. I mean, what is that? What is that? What about child models?
Yeah, actor like
Jodie
Macaulay
Foster.
Culkin.
Jodie Foster was 12, right? In Taxi
Macaulay
Driver,
Culkin was 8.
right? Sure. What's her name? Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, a lot of child actors, right?
Right.
Models. So Jodie Foster, blah 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 blah. She was very young in the Coppertone commercial, right? That's her butt with the
Oh,
dog.
that's her?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There's just lots of stuff like that, where Brooke Shields, where she was under 18 and she's kind of like in soft porn in the Blue Lagoon.
Oh, yes, yes.
So I mean, is that legit? The Runaways, the punk band, they were famously all
Yeah.
16 and under, and they had an impresario who kind of like
But I mean,
managed
so their
everything.
parents, there's a lot of
parents
jokes in
sign it,
Hollywood
but
about the
but
state's parents.
should your parents be able to, if your parents can't marry you off, and they shouldn't be able to, should
Well,
your
they
parent
can in
should your
37 states.
right, well, they shouldn't be able to. And should your parents be able to, model you off? I think not.
So does this mean it's unclear to me, and I wasn't able to find the
I
answer,
don't
but
think
does
kids
this
should be
mean
allowed to work, by the way.
does this mean that
I don't think kids should be able
No,
to,
hold on, hold on. Hold
not
on, hold on.
legally.
Her being that her parents, in effect, gave her away to this 51-year-old man, did he then sign the contract? Because if the checks went to him, that's what she says,
Yeah.
is the paychecks went to him.
Yeah.
Did he sign the contracts for her? Because
No,
is he
she would
then
no, her parents would have
or
signed it.
so, like, if you become a child bride at
Mhm.
16, who is now your legal guardian? Your husband or your parents?
Your parents, I would think.
Still? I don't see, I don't know.
That's a good
But she
question.
did say
That's a lawyer question.
the checks went to her husband. So he's basically acting as a pimp, because if you look up what she looked like at
Mhm.
16, like, holy cow, I'm almost 46. She looked older than me at 17.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do kind of believe in the old soul thing. I did know this woman. She was 28. No, sorry, she was 21, and she was she was engaged, not engaged. She was living with a very famous rock star, who we will call Joe Jackson because his name is Joe Jackson. And the thing is, he was, I guess, in his 50s at the time. And she was definitely very mature for her age. But still, that's a big age gap, right? And it's like, and anyway, but
whatever.
honestly, I don't think if you're let children be children. In the United States, we have decided that people under the age of 18 are kids. Let kids be kids. Kids shouldn't be working. I mean, my friend worked at a fast food joint when he was 16. He worked at, I don't know, a Burger King type place.
I worked at Taco Bell when I was 15.
He was held up at gunpoint and nearly killed.
That was me. Well, I wasn't nearly. Well, I could have been killed, but I wasn't nearly.
Well, they were going to exit. They put them all on the ground. They had guns to the back of their heads. I mean, they terrorized these kids. It's like,
I was
honestly, they should. If it's adult crime, adult time, it should also be like, adult, child age. Like no child wage, right? Like just like you should not be allowed to work. It takes jobs away from adults. It's like there's just
this is a different argument that I wanted to propose to you guys one day anyway about like why teenagers a job. I'm not saying this Hollywood thing is the job for all teenagers. In fact, it's not. It's not for most teenagers. But working at Taco Bell, for example, like I did at 15, it teaches you a lot. And I was
like work sucks is what it teaches.
Well, but having a job and all of that, it teaches responsibility and kind of helps you to grow up. It helped fucking launch me into being an adult, which we have a problem doing in society these days, like coddling kids for too long. Post collegiate, they all come home. That's not their fault because of the economy or whatever. But a lot of people have the failure to launch, right? Because they just never fucking grow up. They're 30 years old and they act like kids. And a lot of it has to do with, and Robbie's brought this up before. Robbie, you talked before about how your kids couldn't find summer jobs because of all the H-1B people or whatever. I was going to pose the question to you guys that maybe there should be a 2-tier wage system for teenagers. Like if you're underage, that would incentivize, let's say, this local supermarket to not bring in the Jamaican workers, and your kids could make.
That already exists in state, or at least it did when I was a kid. Ohio had a 2-tiered wage system. It was called sub-minimum. Talk about nonsensical term. How can something be sub-minimum? It's like jumbo shrimp. Sub-minimum wage. Below the minimum
wage if you're under 18.
Teen wage.
Well, if you're under, you shouldn't look. Honestly, if
work is
work, if you're working, you should get paid. Even if you're in prison or whatever, you should get paid. Obviously,
but this would incentivize places like the grocery store that Robbie's mentioned before to not bring in the H-1B people. Right? They would be incentivized to employ Robbie's kids.
Also, well, Robbie's kids shouldn't be working either. Right?
Why not?
But why
they
not?
Want their own money.
Why should they be?
Because it teaches
they're children. They should be focusing on their.
I agree. I agree with Robbie.
They should focus on their education, on school.
It's summertime, Ted. There is no school right now, and Thomas, he's at the age
they should
now
be playing.
He's at the age where he wants to date. He's driving the truck now, so that means my insurance rates are going up. He has to pay for that. I'm not going to pay an extra $100 a month for him to drive my truck around and use my gas.
I think it teaches responsibility. I think it's great. Not saying that what happened to this Courtney Stodden chick that this is great, but it raises the broader question of like, should teenagers be allowed to work? Should kids be allowed to work? And especially, we're talking about little kids in Hollywood, and Hollywood's a whole fucking different animal because of all the allegations of grooming and it's just fraught. Hollywood is fraught with all of that. Corey Feldman has long been a defender of Michael Jackson. And he's explained why. Other people, because they're saying the Hollywood casting couch thing and all, they were trying to, raise the flag on all of these creepy producers and Hollywood actors and whatever. This girl's doing all of that. Plus doing the whole marriage thing, saying that you guys shouldn't, the adults should not be allowed to sign off on child brides, and it's fucking this is so many layers.
I mean,
And
come on, the child bride
top
thing
of it,
it's so
that's
like, look, I get
a
it. Our
no-brainer.
culture has changed. Like when you were 12, you could stake a claim when you went into the West. Okay. But nowadays, if your kid launches by the time they're 35, you're lucky. So I mean, we're a more immature society. You certainly look, most people who are 18 should not get married.
Ted, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you and me, we both had similar childhoods growing up.
Yeah.
I would have gave my left arm to be able to go get a fucking job instead of living under a bridge eating swamp cabbage. And I couldn't do it because it was illegal.
Oh, really?
Well, didn't you do like odd jobs or whatever?
But I was dumpster diving and stuff. I did whatever it took to survive. At the end of the day, now
we were allowed to work at 15 legally.
Yeah, in California.
In Ohio. I mean, you were, I know you were feral before you were 15.
But I mean, it was harder. It's much harder to get a job in that kind of situation. And I thank God for Miss Birch, who helped me get into George Stone, and then for the guy I worked with over at Tech Advance. Because without them, I wouldn't be here talking to y'all right now. That was an act of God thing, just like meeting Manila over on X. The point that I'm trying to make is that people learning how to work young, learning how to balance a checkbook, learning how to actually freaking live is a good thing. You can't bubble wrap an entire fucking society. That's the problem.
Okay, but I see your point there. But look, obviously, people like you and I, and we are not alone. We represented failures of the system and of our society, right? And so, like, the question is, do you compound that failure by then saying, okay, there's no such thing as childhood anymore. We're going to go back to a pre-Victorian England era where we view children as just like little adults.
I would rather have that than open the borders and flood the place with H-1B visa holders working in a deli clerk, Ted.
We all agree. You're talking about nothing because we both agree that H-1B is bullshit.
It's related.
It shouldn't exist.
It's related. Okay. Listen, if you are 14, 15, 16 years old, and if you want to go get a job, you should have every incentive to go and do so.
And what about taking jobs away from adults who need them?
Well, that's why they would get rid of the minimum wage. The adults not going to work for that price.
Well, the minimum wage is way too low as it is. If it had increased, if the minimum wage had increased,
well, if you
in
did
accordance
away with
the official
H1Bs,
inflation rate since 1970, it would currently be $30 an hour. If it reflected improvements in efficiency and productivity from American workers, the minimum wage today would be $60 an hour. You want to make it lower than $7.25?
No. If you did away with the H-1Bs, like Robbie was saying, it would open the doors for a lot of more middle income level jobs for Americans. So you wouldn't necessarily. It would drive the income higher because you have fewer.
Sure, a little bit. But I mean,
for example,
there's a lot more kids than there are a lot more children than there are who would be willing to work than there are.
For example,
but kids should be at McDonald's. There should be one manager there.
They shouldn't. You can be shot at McDonald's. No, they shouldn't.
Get shot walking down the road.
You
more likely at McDonald's.
You can get shot on the 405 in California.
More likely at McDonald's.
Let me tell you something,
it doesn't
Ted.
happen that frequently.
Last summer, Thomas wanted to get a job at a guy who owns a welding shop. He wanted to work over there as an apprentice. That's where his heart is he wants to get into the trades. He can't hire him because it's illegal for him to hire him. That is the granny state on steroids. This country needs people who are willing to work in the trades. That's the argument they always hear. These stupid Americans don't want to work. Well, part of the problem is that our government won't let you work. That's part of the problem. Instead, they want you to go.
Here's where they let you work.
What about focusing on fucking school? I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to drop out of school either. Like this whole you can drop out of school when you're 16. Fuck that. That should be illegal too.
Well, I never went to high school. What are you gonna do? Put me in jail?
It wasn't. You and I will repeat, are both failures of the system.
But look, if Ted, what would you propose we do for, like, for example, the movie industry? I'm not saying for like young, hot blonde chicks that are 16 like her. I'm talking about Macaulay Culkin at Home Alone. We wouldn't have had any, like, children are an integral part of the arts. Like, and children, Jodie Foster is one of them. She won an Oscar as a kid.
We'll just use dwarves.
So I'm all pro kids being allowed to work. I'm against kids being able to fucking get married off to disgusting grown-ass adults. And it's always, you never see a 51-year-old woman trying to marry a 16-year-old boy. It's always some gross middle-aged man trying to marry a
We're looking at you,
kid.
President Macron.
Oh yeah, it's hardly ever that though. But I don't think she didn't marry him as a teenager, right?
Well,
No,
because
she groomed him.
Because France is a real nation, and it's not legal to get married before you're 18. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look that up, but I think that's right. Yeah, I'm just making that shit up.
It's seldom ever.
I bet it's 18. I'll bet you anything. But let's just say
probably.
It is 18. It is.
It should be easier
across the country.
Across the country.
It should be easier for kids to get jobs than what it is right now. I would rather a job go to an American teenager from a poor family instead of that job being outsourced to some peckerwood from Jamaica.
We're in complete agreement on that point, but like that's not the issue here.
That is the issue.
Well, look, it's easier in 37 states for teenagers to get married off than to get a job. How fucked up is that?
Okay, that's stupid. Okay, granted.
Okay, how fucked up is that? It's easier for a teenager to get married off.
It's also insane. It's also insane because if they're not married, let's say there are people who are currently on Megan's Law sex offender registration lists because they were 16 and a half and had an 18 and a half year old girlfriend or boyfriend, and the 18 and a half, and like, so that's considered statutory rape.
Right.
But if they've gotten married, it's cool. Like, what?
Yeah, there's all kinds of, it's a patchwork quilt of stupid shit, just like with abortion. And Robbie, Robbie believes
it's also
in
legacy. It's legacy shit because, like, look, again, in the 1800s, it wasn't weird for 16-year-olds to get married, but it is now.
Well, your life expectancy was 40, so.
Good point. Yeah, you were half dead.
You're an old maid at 17, man.
True.
40. You'd be lucky to live to 40 because there weren't antibiotics, which we'll talk about, which we got to move on to. So there's that. Oh, and Ted, I wanted to, and Robbie, like, I knew you'd have my back on this one. Kids should fucking work. It teaches them to be better people, be responsible. Like,
look, I worked since I was 9. I'm still an asshole, right? So it didn't work.
No, but you're responsible. I'm responsible. Like,
You're supposed to argue that I'm not an asshole when I say that. You know that.
No, I didn't argue because
I know you didn't argue.
I support the claim.
All right.
I'm being a supportive friend, Ted. Okay.
Thanks, Manila. You're the best. You're the best.
But lastly, Ted, I think you and I will agree on one thing. This Jason Alexander apology. Fuck that. He should not have apologized. It's a skit.
Yeah, it's
a skit.
He's being gay. Yeah.
He's being pressured by, all the Me Tooers of like.
By the way, apologizing is always
a pervert.
I've said this before. When you're in public life, come on, the dude's he's a comedic actor. Like, if you start apologizing for every fucking thing you do, I'm not surprised. I mean, like, I could easily see someone saying, Robert Downey Jr., you have to apologize for having done blackface in Tropic Thunder. But
you were playing a character playing blackface. Like, you're not. It's like two.
But like, no, because like once you go down that path, you're apologizing for everything all the time. Yeah,
I agree. I think if you're an actor and you played a part and the character had some kind of unsavory whatever to the character, don't fucking apologize for the character. You played a part. This is like the same shit that's going on in Hollywood where they're like, if you're playing a Latino character and you're not actually Latino, and people are like, oh my God, so-and-so is white and they're playing Latino. Why couldn't they have hired a Latino actor? I mean, sure, they could have.
Well, that's a valid, it's a valid question just because there are so many underemployed Latino actors, right?
But you shouldn't hate on the actor for taking the job, is my point. Is like, and if that, furthermore, if that character did something horrible, let's
I
say
don't know.
was
I disagree with you. I mean, look, there is a cartoonist
you should never have to apologize for
who
playing a part.
he claims to be a good person, and yet he works at the LA Times. It is my opinion that no cartoonist should ever accept a job at the LA Times after what they did to me. It should just be like, no. And I've turned down jobs from disreputable employers like that because, like, oh, after what you did to so and so, I'm not going to work for you, and no one should.
Like, do you know how many British actors play American characters? Charlize Theron is not even fucking American.
Yeah, there's a lot
She's
of Australians, Brits, and Americans all like
if they're
the cast of True Blood, where they were all like Shakespearean actors, right? Playing a bunch of Southerners.
That's the whole point. Is it's acting. It's acting. You don't need to be. It
So
wouldn't be called acting.
How do you
It
feel
would be
about
called acting.
How do you feel about David Carradine in Kung Fu?
I always thought that was.
I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah, I just always thought it was like weird. I'd be like,
it's weird though.
He's not even Asian.
He doesn't.
But then there's the whole.
And he doesn't look Asian
genre,
at all,
no.
right? Like at
but
all.
Like that gets into like genre stuff and like the whole like black kung fu movies, and it goes into this weird rabbit hole. But look, the
black kung fu movies are awesome though.
There are actors who are not paraplegic or quadriplegic or whatever in a wheelchair. They're not disabled, and they play.
Notice there's no one. Where's the triplegics? No one ever talks about them.
Why, you get one limb that still works?
Yeah. Like it's always like, I mean, it's like, what do you always lose your limbs in pairs? I mean,
in pairs.
I mean, is that the rule? Works. There's got to be some triplegics who are like feeling left out in this whole discussion.
I don't know, but anyway,
uniplegics.
Should you only hire people that are actually in a wheelchair to play a wheelchair-bound character?
What if you're
Professor X in X-Men?
A septoplegic. What? Sorry, I'm getting lost here.
What is his name? He's a British actor.
Oh, I know who you're talking
Professor
about.
X. He's from Star Trek.
Oh my God. Yeah. Patrick Stewart.
Thank you, Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even American, and he talks American in movies, and he plays Professor X. He's not really wheelchair
He's also
bound.
not French, and he also he plays a French ship captain in Star Trek, Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh, should he apologize?
Yes,
for
he
being
should
all those things.
He's
not French.
He should apologize to Clovis, the first king of France.
He's not. Patrick Stewart is Sir Patrick Stewart.
Clovis is Russian.
He's not
and
in
yet
a wheelchair.
yet has a French name.
So look, acting is acting. So because of that, I don't think Jason Alexander should have apologized, because you're opening the door to having everybody apologize for everything, for fucking everything. Don't fuck this up for Hollywood. Don't apologize. Fuck that.
All right. The U.S. may finally be moving toward ending the twice-year ritual of changing the clocks. This story pisses me off to no end. The House has approved legislation that would make daylight savings time permanent across most of the country, trading brighter winter evenings for significantly darker mornings. In California, the difference would be striking. Under permanent daylight savings time, which the House of Representatives has now passed, and the president said that he would sign if the Senate approves, the latest winter sunrise would arrive around 8 a.m. in LA, 8:25 in San Francisco in the morning, and 8:44 a.m. up in Crescent City. That's up north by the border with Oregon. In return, LA would get sunsets as late as 5:44 p.m. during the darkest weeks of the year. An extra hour of evening light for commuting, exercise, and outdoor life. Sounds appealing, but sleep scientists say the human body doesn't measure time by legislation. It responds to light. Morning sunlight synchronizes the brain's circadian clock, signaling that it's time to become alert and setting the biological countdown towards sleep later that night. Evening light sends the opposite message, delaying melatonin production and encouraging the body to remain awake. So permanent daylight savings time will therefore place social time, school, work, and commuting an hour further ahead of solar time throughout the winter. Researchers say that this would make it harder to wake up in the morning, fall asleep at night and obtain enough restorative sleep, particularly for teenagers and people living near the western edges of time zones. The good news is everyone agrees that changing the clocks twice a year is a mistake. The question is, which time should become permanent daylight savings time or permanent standard time? There is absolutely no question that only a retard country would go to permanent daylight savings time, which is exactly why that's where the way
Isn't
we're
the
probably
other one
moving
better?
toward. Standard
Permanent
time is
standard time.
Yeah, we want standard time. And like for people who are like, who are the children, the adult children who think that like, oh, I would have more time in the evening. Okay, so we tried this. I'm old. And in 1974, when I was 10 years old, they tried this. They went to permanent daylight savings time as part of the OPEC energy crisis. It was supposed to go on for a couple of years. So many school kids were getting run over by cars because A, it was pitch dark, nobody could see them in the morning, and B, the motorists were fucking exhausted and strung out from not getting enough sleep, that Congress had an emergency session where they had to cancel this and put an end to it. We tried this. It failed. Now, for people who are like, well, I'd like to have more time to socialize. Tough fucking shit. Like, turn on a light. This is why Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. It's like, this is.
Why don't they ever talk about permanent standard time?
Well,
why is it always permanent daylight saving?
There is no sleep scientist who thinks this is a good idea. By the way, during daylight savings time should be abolished during the summer. Okay, first of all, we already know there's all sorts of studies. Hundreds of Americans die of heart attacks and aneurysms as a result, not of the changing of the clock, as the result of their circadian rhythms being fucked up. There's more accidents. There's it's costing the economy millions of dollars. It is daylight savings time is already too long. It's like we should have none of it. And the fact that like people are, well, they're like, well, kids it'll just be darker in the afternoon. No, I'll speak slowly and use small words. School lets out at 3. Okay, nowhere is it going to be dark at 3 o'clock or 3:30. Nowhere,
or even 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So the point is that like now, obviously, there's all sorts of complications here. Like time zones are wide, right? So the same, the sun is obviously not
Russia's
the same.
got 5 of them.
The sun, yeah, and even within a time zone, Ohio and New York City are both in the same time zone, right? So obviously, Cincinnati and New York don't experience sunlight, sunrise and sun down at the same time. But the point is, generally speaking, it's called standard time for a reason, because it's real time. And then I was arguing with people online. They said, "Oh, Ted, you're being a puss. Get up at whatever time you want." It's fine for me. I work for myself. I can do that. But for people who have to commute to school, who are in rush hour traffic, commuting to 9 to 5 jobs or 8 to 5 jobs, people who have kids who have to be at school at an ungodly hour, people will make school later. Oh, I'm on board with that. School starts too early. School should be more like, it should be on the same hours as parents have. It should be more like 9 to 4. But still, this is the society we have now. Oh, that's good. Anyway, so that's my rant. Sorry.
Got to say thank you to Jenna Tillis for the donation. Jenna says Duckman wouldn't have apologized. I think referring to the last segment.
He was like a human duck. Although ducks are cute.
Don't apologize.
And
don't apologize. But I'm with Ted. I have nothing else to add to that. Like everybody hates springing forward, Ted. You know that. Everybody's like,
well,
this sucks.
Yeah,
man.
and everyone's like, oh, I get an hour back in the fall, right?
But it's not back. That's what you should have had in the first place.
Well,
but why do they always push for permanent daylight savings, but not daylight?
Do you want to know why?
But not,
I'll tell you why.
Standard.
No, Manila, this will not surprise you. It's money. Okay, so literally, the reason Congress got lobbied to do it this way instead of the right way is because companies believe that we would shop more in the afternoon after work if there were more daylight. Also, believe it or not,
if the sun was still out at 8 o'clock.
The golfing industry is a major proponent of this bill. Donald Trump obviously is part of the golfing industry, and they think people would golf more if there were more sunlight. I mean, obviously, they're right; they would. I don't know if people really would shop more in it, but like it's consumerism, it's capitalism. It's not about science. It's about it's about trying to extract more shekels from our pockets.
It's the other, like, if we were doing what was good for the people, we would keep standard time.
Yeah, we should just be listening to scientists. So if I literally didn't have an opinion about this at all, right? So I just looked up, well, what do sleep scientists have to say about this?
Right.
And it was like unanimous, like go to standard time. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, if I were the president of the United States, I'm going to go with what the experts have to say. And it's like, but obviously the thumb is on the scale, the fix is in. They're willing to kill your children and maybe you, because you might get in a car accident as an adult, in order to increase corporate profits. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, but I'm with everybody in the world that's like, fuck, every spring that we're changing.
Look, I agree with the people who favor, like, we all agree that the change of the clocks is very rough. So, like, let's get rid of that by all means, but let's go to permanent standard time.
Yeah. Permanent standard. All right. So back to the motherland for me. Latino-owned businesses in areas targeted by federal immigration raids last year in Los Angeles County suffered, quote, immediate economic shock, as well as lasting effects, a report released Wednesday says. The surge in raids by ICE back in last June, you guys might remember, created a chilling effect that drove customers from businesses anchoring the county's commercial corridors serving Latino and immigrant communities, says the study. The author of the report used focus groups and entrepreneur surveys, as well as data on foot traffic. They said businesses closest to those raid sites were hit hardest. In 2 weeks, businesses in the 9 sites studied had 46,000 fewer customer visits, which equated to an estimated $3.16 million in accumulated losses. The authors note that those estimates only, quote, include formal businesses, and so not the street vendors, which is a huge thing in California, right? This is like brick and mortar is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
In surveys, 59% of business owners reported that sales dropped by more than 50%, 68% temporarily closed, and 51% had staff miss work out of fear, right? More than half. So slightly more than half of their workers called in because they were terrified. So, I mean, mind you, this is like only a few years out post-COVID after Gavin Newsom fucked up the whole state and a lot of mom and pop shops closed down. So the few that survived then are dealing with this, okay? So in addition, the issues persist a year after the surge. About 95% of Latino entrepreneurs reported going into financial stress, with many businesses, quote, left with depleted savings, accumulated debt, and abandoned plans for growth and investment. More than 75% of those responding to surveys said the raids affected their well-being, reporting a host of issues, including insomnia, panic attacks, and gastrointestinal disorders.
Good times.
A year later, the crisis is not over, says the study. Many of these businesses remain in debt, barely breaking even, and struggling to stay open. These consequences extend far beyond commercial corridors. As immigration enforcement continues, it endangers the health, well-being, and safety of entire communities. The report, called "The Cost of Fear: The Impacts of Immigration Enforcement on Small Businesses and Latino Entrepreneurs in LA County." That is a long title.
Yeah, catchy. Just rolls off the tongue.
I would advise you guys to truncate that somehow.
Yeah.
And is from UCLA's Latino Policy and Politics Institute.
Maybe ICE can deport the headline writer there. Yeah.
And the nonprofit Inclusive Action for the City. So I haven't been home in over 2 years. I mean, obviously I was ill and whatever, and then baby, and okay. So we're planning on going back to the motherland this fall with the new baby. And when I was home last, I was so sad to see already. I'm from a Latino community, which you can't say you're not from a Latino community if you're from LA, but where I'm from, so many businesses, the mom and pop ones, so many of them, struggled, almost all of them struggled to stay open during COVID because Gavin Newsom fucked up the state so bad during COVID. Secondly, the ones that did stay open, I know business owners and like they had a hard time last year, like during, so I can tell you from anecdotal stories of people I know, business owners and what have you, that this has had a chilling effect, Ted, all over Southern California, and it's just slightly quieter than the lively hustle and bustle of, like, LA and, um, especially, like, around the Echo Park district where you find street vendors and whatever. Life is so colorful, like, you find, like, street vendors selling art and, like, food, like, homemade foods and stuff, like, it's just great. More than half of that is just wiped out. Either they've been hauled away or if they're just hiding because of fear. And LA, like, it sucks, man. That's home. That's what home looked like, you know? And I hate to hear that all of these brick and mortar shops are struggling because California is so fucking expensive to live. Like that's part of the reason I can't imagine moving back is because I can't afford to. I could never afford to be back home, Ted, with my entire family, with the vast majority of my friends. I can't afford to. If I can't afford to live there, how can businesses afford to stay open? And what ICE is doing, I'm not even talking about the workers. I'm talking about the business owners who largely by default are Americans.
Mhm.
They can't survive.
No. No, it's look, it's interesting because it reminds us that like public policies can have some unanticipated consequences. You see the building, you see in like when I was seeing the footage of ICE rioting against the people of Los Angeles, and you could see all the stores with the shutters down, all locked up. You see that, and it registers, but it doesn't register like that's money not coming in through the door that business owner needs in order to pay their rent. And if that goes on day after day after day, and they're on thin margins, they're not gonna. That business is imperiled, and it might go under. That's it's something that I'm sure Donald Trump and Tom Homan never gave a thought to. And it's maybe
I
they
thought
don't
he was the
care,
most business friendly president, Ted.
right? But it's
Yeah.
important. I mean, look, it has
His business. I forgot. Sorry, Ted.
I mean,
His
obviously,
business.
there's an economic impact also from deporting workers who also are consumers. But this goes beyond that because it has a ripple effect through business owners who are many of whom U.S. citizens and green card holders, right? So they're legitimately allowed to be here,
Yeah.
and they're getting burned too, just because again, it goes down to the way you're doing things. I mean, if they wanted to deport people, but not do it non-violently without like basically causing riots, and ICE, they are the rioters. So it's like that's they're breaking the law. But no, I don't think we have time before DMZ in the last 2 minutes here to do the last story. But can we hold it till tomorrow? I was gonna, because also just want to take note of the fact that the House of Representatives has just voted for a second time to ding Donald Trump with a War Powers Act resolution. A bunch of Republicans crossed party lines in order to support the measure. So basically, this is the Congress rebuking Trump on the Iran war.
It does nothing. I thought you guys moved to Fridays now. Are you back to Thursday?
We did, but Stantis couldn't do tomorrow. It was his idea to move to Fridays. Now today he's like, well, we got to do Thursdays.
Yep,
He's fickle.
We will not be rating Putinbot Gaming. We'll be doing that later today. So we'll be doing DMZ instead.
Yeah.
Are we rating straight into DMZ then? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to hold off on what was this last one? It's a antibiotic story. So we'll JDC, we'll hold off on antibiotics till tomorrow for Fun Friday, because antibiotics are fun, Ted. So much fun.
Indeed. Well, I mean,
All right.
by the way, I'm totally opposed to this antibiotic. Stantis is running late here. I'm sitting here watching, so I can sit here and we can talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, it's about overprescribing.
Let me wipe this. Hold on. Let me do the jaws. Okay, go ahead and read the story.
Okay, here we go. Most people think doctors prescribe antibiotics simply because they're medically necessary, but research suggests the decision is often influenced by human psychology. A medical sociologist, there's Stantis, says physicians don't make these cases. Okay, we got to do this tomorrow. I just don't. Yeah.
Now Stantis is ready. Oh my God.
Yeah. He is. All right, I'm out. Bye.
Fucking cartoonist.
See you tomorrow, Manila.
All right, thanks everybody. We're raiding into DMZ. Adios, amigos. That was just a tease about the antibiotics. So we'll go into detail about that tomorrow, because there's something interesting there that is beyond pure medicine. So, all right, Robbie, our thumbs up. Are we ready to raid into? Yep, raid into DMZ. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back for Fun Friday. Adios, amigos. Bye.